There are thousands of UFO sightings every year in different countries around the world. And there seems to be no common denominator of age, sex, or profession among those who are seeing them. What are the possible earthly explanations for a phenomenon that so many believe must be extraterrestrial in origin? There has been a spate of UFO sightings in Mexico in recent years. Balls of light, sometimes hovering, sometimes darting across the skies. There's no question that whatever they are, they're real objects. Too many people on too many occasions have independently witnessed and recorded them for it to be a nationwide hoax. The small town of Puebla has become something of a mecca for ufologists. Like David Spoor in England, Dr. Soledad de la Peña has found an absorbing new hobby in UFO watching from the roof of her house.
I started to take a genuine interest in the objects in the Puebla skies in around 1991. From the time of the solar eclipse, many objects were seen in parts of the country, and many were seen in this area. I think this is one of the most important night videos that exist, as the object is very low in the sky. And as the shot goes on, we can see its relationship to the city and to the trees. From 1991 until today, I think I've seen around 1,000. 1,000, I'm not exaggerating. I've seen an infinite number of them. They could be spacecraft or secret craft from an advanced country. But that gets absurd because I'd want to ask, what are they looking for here in Puebla? I have discovered that there is a close relationship between the appearance of the UFOs and volcanic activity. When I see a lot of UFOs, it could mean that there's going to be problems with the volcano.
Dr. Soledad may unwittingly have made a connection that some scientists suggest is the answer to the UFOs that appear to be spheres of light.
The empirical analysis that we've completed indicate that most luminous events that people call UFO reports are coupled to earthquake activity, that they're natural phenomena, and both these balls of light, no matter how unusual they may be, and earthquakes have one thing in common: tectonic strain, not extraterrestrial forces.
The theory that deep within the Earth, the extreme pressure on rocks produces an electric charge that manifests itself above ground as balls of light is particularly relevant to Mexico. The country rests on a bed of seismic activity, and many, like Dr. Soledad, have seen UFOs in and around Mount Popocatépetl. But it seems unlikely that the tectonic strain theory can fully explain unidentified lights that have been seen in Russia, Germany, Israel, and many other locations around the world.
The whole group was hovering, not making any sudden moves. It was just hovering in a stable kind of way. Then I saw a small sphere come in from the right. It looked as if it flew right into the group and dissolved.
And what about the UFOs that appear to have a definite craft shape, disc, hub, and cigar, that pilots and others have been reporting for years?
About 4 miles ago, we passed an unknown object like a cigar. Do you have anything on the scope?
The public was seeing a lot of classified programs back in the 50s and 60s, looked like unidentified flying objects. The intelligence community knew that those were their own programs and just didn't tell anyone. I think that if you ask what are the unidentified flying objects, they are regular airplanes, that they are highly classified, unacknowledged high performance or stealth aircraft. Some of them are Russian airplanes that we bought for evaluation. Flying saucers, I don't think so.
Secret military aircraft in the skies and tectonic strain beneath the Earth may well account for a large percentage of UFO sightings. And over the last 40 years, there's been another possible source: debris in space.
There it goes.
We can track with radars and the telescopes of the order of 8,000 objects. We know the positions of these on a regular basis. One of those, on average, comes back to Earth a day. When they come back to Earth, when they pass through the atmosphere, they heat up. Some are destroyed, some parts of objects survive re-entry and hit the surface of the Earth.
But there is still a percentage of sightings that remain a mystery.
I cannot really tell you what it was, but most probably I can tell you what it was not. So most probably it was not a prototype, and I don't really believe it was a meteorological phenomena at that moment.
The fact that there weren't many examples, maybe 5 or 10 cases that were inexplicable, didn't mean that they weren't important. In fact, they were probably much more important than those thousands of sightings which did have a rational explanation.
I saw all reports on flying saucers that came into the Air Force operations room. I should think 90% of them, perhaps 95, could be explained away. But there were 5% unexplainable.
There's always a small group of sightings that can't be explained, but you know, there are always a small group of murders in Los Angeles that can't be explained every year, but it would be bizarre in the extreme, you have to admit, to suggest that those particular murders weren't committed by humans, they were committed by aliens, for example. I mean, the fact that some are unexplained doesn't constitute proof, or even evidence.
There is dramatic new evidence from the Hubble telescope that the chances of there being life elsewhere in the universe are far greater than was ever imagined. In October 1998, looking 12 billion years back in time, Hubble revealed an early universe with twice as many galaxies than was previously thought.
We know that life probably comes about pretty easily when the conditions are right, the temperature situation, the humidity and so on. And we find life forms in very hostile environments, on the bottom of the ocean, in hot sulfur springs and so on. I think that out there in this vast, vast universe, I'm pretty sure there must be many, many life forms. It must be teeming with life forms.
But if the universe is teeming with life forms, some of which may be more technically advanced than we are, why should they not have been visiting Earth?
We aren't that important with our own little planet, with our medium-class sun in a distant corner of our galaxy, in one of the spiral arms. And here you got people who are saying that we are the most important folks in the universe because we are being visited again and again by superior beings.
There is no doubt that a UFO phenomenon does exist, and it's global. But so far there's no conclusive evidence that it has an extraterrestrial dimension. Whenever such evidence is presented, on close examination, it seems to fade away.
I think if they were here, if there was some evidence that they were here, you'd have tens of thousands of university researchers beavering away on this problem at night. I mean, this would be the most important scientific problem they could work on. And the fact that they're not doing it speaks volumes to me.
Okay, turbo fans are up.
Rather than look for ET on Earth, scientists at NASA are firmly focused on a search elsewhere. If it works, Dr. Lake Mirabeau's experiment with pulsed laser propulsion may be the method that puts spacecraft of the future far beyond the pull of Earth's gravity. It's part of an adventurous NASA program that's pushing hard at the boundaries of science.
We're supposed to be looking to the far edge, to the cutting edge of advanced technologies and pressing the frontiers of science. So we are going to look for new ways to do things. We have a center, the Marshall Space Flight Center, whose job is to be the center of excellence for propulsion. That means they ought to be looking at new stuff, and if they're not doing their job. If you got your foot on the pedal and you can still steer the car, you're not going fast enough, and that's what we believe around here.
The breakthrough propulsion program that we're investigating started with our interest in trying to understand a lot of the phenomena that are being discovered from Hubble and from other astronomy activities, from particle physics and studies into relativity that are uncovering a number of peculiar phenomena that might have propulsion benefits if they are pursued to some reality. So we're interested in pursuing some of these to see if in fact we could potentially approach the speed of light with travel, or possibly exceed that. There's a lot of controversy in whether that's possible or not.
NASA's not shy of controversy. In a program of cutting-edge research, Dr. David Neuver is using superconductors in powerful magnetic fields to test the claims of a Russian scientist who says he's managed to modify the immutable law of gravity. If it's possible, it could have a greater impact than the advent of the wheel.
When I was a little kid this size, if I were to have gone outside the county, it would have been a steam locomotive. Now I'm in a spaceship. Take that acceleration of science and technology and do it for several million years, or a billion years. You know, interstellar travel is probably a possibility when you get, you know, if you accelerate that amount of technology. So yeah, it's going on out there.
We have an Origins program that is looking for signs of life elsewhere, beyond Earth. And by life, I don't necessarily mean multi-cell life. Right now, we'd settle for single-cell life somewhere.
A meteorite that was found in the Antarctic in 1996 appears to show microscopic signs of life. And it's believed to have come to Earth from Mars some 13,000 years ago. The possibility of life on Mars, however simple, has helped galvanize NASA into an ambitious new series of missions into space.
If you really want to get inspired and look to the future, look at science fiction books or magazine articles about the future. Look at the predictions that science fictions are writing, and then go, you know, way beyond that. And that's probably where we're headed.
We have ignition and we have liftoff of NASA's Mars Climate Orbiter as we continue to explore the mysteries of the red planet.
On December the 11th, 1998, the Mars Climate Orbiter mission left Earth. On that day, the search for ET began in earnest.
There'll be a mission every 2 years for the next 10 years, culminating with a Mars sample return in around 2003, 2004, bringing it back around 2006 with the first samples back. So that's going to be a step towards learning, is there life elsewhere beyond Earth? We've got the Galileo probe going through the system of Jupiter, and they've discovered a layer of ice around Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter. Well, we think under that layer of ice there might be an ocean 60 miles deep. Two things you need for life are a source of water and a source of energy. If Europa has that, it could lead to very exciting breakthroughs. And then, through things like the Hubble Space Telescope and the next generation telescope that'll come after the turn of the century, we're going to focus our instruments on planets in other solar systems. And then try to find out, might there be life there? In a universe of points of light, you know, trillions of points of light out there, the notion that we are unique, that we are somehow the only place in the celestial neighborhood where there's life is inconceivable to me. Now the matter is, can we find that life? Will we recognize it when we see it? And does it look anything like what we expect here?